Hey guys, welcome to an episode of Change Starts With Us Ohio. We're here with Jay Lee, R- Russell's brother, as we know him as Jay Bird. What's Russell's last name? Um, I have it, but I think people will know what Russell's last name is. Welcome today. Can you hear me?
Well, thank you for having me. It's been much appreciated. And I heard that you were a little ill, and I thought the prayers go out to you and your family. We hope you're doing all the best.
Well, I think it was all in God's divine power that I even made it. But we got lots of work to do, not just in Ohio. I hear you guys have problems out there in Washington.
Yeah, well, the COVID situation in Washington is getting pretty much stressful and worse day by day. It doesn't seem to be alleviating itself. And, of course, with the issues of how they, do their examinations and their testing, by the time they started testing staff had already been working at the prison, which then spread it around. And some of the inmates ended up contracting it, unfortunately.
Right.
And we have suspicions that a few of them have died because of it, but of course DLC won't tell us that.
Yeah, well, they're not going to. They want to keep everything hush hush because they don't want people to realize that they're doing everything backwards.
Absolutely.
So how many deaths has Washington had roughly so far from COVID? We led the nation, I know, Ohio.
Well, there's been at least a couple of thousand that I'm aware of. We do watch TBW a lot. When we watch these broadcasts, we're able to get some numbers, but again, we think the numbers are being fudged a little bit to make it less severe. We think the numbers are a lot higher.
Right. And as it gets worse, the governors should have a responsibility to start releasing people, so that because they weren't sentenced to death. Why kill them through COVID-19? If they would release, 20,000 in some states and 10,000 in others and give people the 6-foot distance, they're going to have a chance.
Yeah, and of course, in the prison environment, there's no way that we can really socially distance due to overcrowding. So it's like living in a chamber where the disease just grows and spreads, and
right.
We don't really know where we can escape.
Right, and it's kind of sad because talking to Jay Bird, we know a little bit about Washington, and everybody in Ohio thought Ohio was the worst prisons, but then you compare other states with Ohio, they all have similar situations and circumstances going on.
Yeah, it's sad too because you would think that they wear a uniform that's designated as a quasi law enforcement officer, so their whole duty is to serve and protect under the theory of state law. And I believe in Ohio, they have the same kind of duty to provide reasonable expected care for their prisoners. But what we see is time and time again, most of the staff that wear that uniform, they don't really support the uniform or what it represents. They more will support their own self-serving interests.
Right, and it's not going to get better. Does Washington have the parole board still?
It has what we consider a watered-down version of the parole board. We have in Washington State what they call a governor's and pardons board. And it's a board of 3 or 4 people who decide if someone deserves a commutation or a full pardon, and they can reject it for any number of reasons. But the full parole board is non-existent at this time.
Now, I wish Ohio would get that way, but I don't know if your way is any better, though, because they can deny somebody just because of nature of offense, like they do in Ohio. They don't like somebody's case. They stayed out of trouble, but we're still going to deny them.
Yeah, and I think their whole mindset on who they let out is a little bit warped because statistics show you that someone who's been incarcerated 20, 30 or more years has no desire to reoffend, whereas when they let out those who are repeat drug offenders or minor offenses, they don't have the incentive to stay out, so they end up
Right.
getting trouble come right back.
And that's true. Especially since our population is getting to be younger and younger, and that's nationwide, not just in Ohio. You're getting juveniles convicted as adults. They never had a chance for life.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see that same trend in Washington and across the country, where under Miller versus Alabama, the U.S. Supreme Court case that decided that you cannot sentence juveniles to de facto or actual life sentences without taking into consideration their juvenile age at the time of the crime. And that kind of affects me somewhat because when I committed my crime, I had just turned 19, and I've been incarcerated now 26 years, and I think I will be due a sentencing hearing under this new case law decision here soon.
How can we help you?
Well, I think it's important, not just for me, but those who have been sentenced as adults when they were actual juveniles, to continue to get the word out and spread the news that it's criminal unusual punishment to treat a juvenile as an adult when they're not of adult age at the time of the crime. And I get it. You do have those advocates out there who think it's important to punish or be vindictive in their punishments, like most prosecutors are. However, we're getting a different mindset from prosecutors today where overcrowding was caused by this get tough on crime mentality. And, times have changed. We have a different social justice movement and restorative justice movement where we want to alleviate overcrowding. We want to give people a second chance. And so one of the ways we can do that is to tune into your podcast and, of course, the podcast From Inside Out with Russell, or known as Jaybird, which is my brother.
Right.
And get the word out about this and other issues that are considered inhumane inside the prison system.
Right. I'd like to get Russell on in the next week. But how do you feel about doing a show with me once a month or once a week on here?
It would be a great honor. Yeah, I would really appreciate it. It would be a huge honor for me and the family because getting the voice out is the most important thing.
Yeah. Well, I need you to pick a date and a time. I can't pay you because we have to buy stands from certain states, and you're the only one from Washington. So.
Yeah, you still are registered with me on JPay.
Right.
Change
starts with us, Ohio.
Yeah, so if you want to, I think you can still do that. I don't think there's any rejections to our emails, but long story short, Mondays work best for me.
That's fine. What time on Mondays?
Anywhere from 1 to 3 o'clock.
Let's say 2 o'clock.
What was that?
How about 2 o'clock?
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Right.
We'll start doing that every Monday around 2 o'clock. And I'm sure the fans of your show and From Inside Out show will be pleased to hear from us on a regular basis. I
need you to JPay me a picture to put on the thing if you can, and come up with a name for our show.
Absolutely. Yeah, I will do that. I'll do that tonight and get it out to you by tomorrow.
Okay. And this is an honor because I have so much respect for Jaybird. He's got my back just as I have his. And if we don't stick together, especially us that was locked up, nobody else is going to look out for us, and nobody else is going to understand the system unless if we can kind of show them what's happening.
Yeah, I've always been under the theory that, as far as advertising goes, send one and then share one.
Right.
So you send out an advertisement and then that person shares it and then it just goes viral.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I'm always excited when I talk to you because you inspire me and that helps me out because sometimes it gets depressing to see people put to death, people being abused by the system.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, our voices could not have been heard without the efforts of you, your organization, and the efforts of other people who I've gotten to work with over the years. For the first 20 years of my confinement, I had no way of getting my voice out. I was just screaming into a vacuum. But now we have ways of getting it out there, and I'm just so humbled and honored to be a part of this movement. You gave a way for the door to be opened, and instead of just opening, we kicked the door down.
Yeah, we're going to do a podcast the same time we do the YouTube we'll put it on our Anchor podcast. I think Jaybird has the same thing. And it would be a double way. If you could get your family to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Change Starts With Us Ohio, they can watch it. They can watch it live.
Okay, yeah, I'll spread the word. So it's Change Starts With Us, is that correct?
Yeah, Change Starts With Us Ohio.
Okay.
So, but and you could pick the topics. You're smart enough. I'm not good at picking topics because we got to branch out and think what people would want to hear nationwide, not just Ohio, not just Washington. Some of the topics I think we could speak nationwide. One is COVID-19. One is juveniles being convicted as adults.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, either one of those topics are hot topics right now. And of course, eventually we can touch on issues related to how they serve us dog food during our meals, or the mattresses that we have, or like sleeping on concrete. There's just so many different myriad of different things that affect humans in here, and a lot of that can be touched upon.
Yeah. Hey, if somebody wants to reach you in Washington, how can they do so?
Yeah, good question. So the business number for the podcast in Washington, and it's a direct line to me as well, is 253-248-3957. That's 253-248-3957. And send a text ahead of time. Let them know who you are and where you're calling, and then they'll accept your call.
Good. And, Washington needs help. Other states do as well. But if you want to get advice, feel free to text that number and listen to us every Monday afternoon at 2 p.m. What's your first name again?
First name is Jason. Nickname is J.Lee. Last name is the same as the DJ podcast from Inside Out.
Yeah, I won't remember all that. I thought your nickname was Jay because I don't know why I thought that. I think Jaybird told me that. But we need to incorporate.
For your listeners, just for your listeners' knowledge as well, I am also a trans woman.
Okay.
So I use female pronouns.
Okay.
And you may not know that before. Maybe there's some miscommunication, but just so you understand, I am in the transition process, and so it's Miss J.Lee from now on.
That's fine, and I'm going to forget that though. But every time you call, I'll ask you what your name is. My memory's not good. And we're gonna try to get some questions ahead of time from people so that you can. We'll do like maybe one show a month where all you do is respond to their questions. Or maybe we could do an extra show one week.
I would enjoy that because obviously the fans' perspective is very important to us, and any questions submitted will be answered in the order received.
Right.
Obviously, questions that relate to the health and well-being of prisoners are going to be priority questions, but I think it's definitely important that people's voices, as far as our fans go, that their voices are heard as well.
Right, and folks, we need a support from Inside Out too. What is Jason's real name that they could contact him regarding from the Inside Out? Is it Russell?
So his first name is Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Jeffrey. I don't know. Jeffrey Russell, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, he uses Russell for his platforms, but his first name is Jeffrey.
Yeah, that I knew. I know him as Jaybird, but I would like to see our videos co-in-sync with each other because Jaybird, believe it or not, he's got a lot of good ideas. I don't, but I like listening to him because he's so well and so smooth at his talking.
And I think it would be, if we can make arrangements for this, I think it would be even awesome to have us both on at the same time and all three of us DJing the show together, talking about important topics.
Well, let's see if we could do that for Monday at 2:00 because I would probably have to have him on my Facebook Messenger, and we won't be able to podcast that day, but we'll have him on, and both of you can talk as long as people can hear both. I mean, our listeners can, but I hope you two can as well.
Yeah, well, it could be a technical issue, of course. Logistics can be easily worked out. If there's any kind of headaches, we'll work those out when that comes around. But I think our intent is obviously to get a really good produced show for our fans and get the content out there with proper context because, the system's not going to tell the truth.
No, they're not. And Jaybird just sent me a real nice microphone so we have better sound.
That's wonderful. Yeah, he told me you did that. I said that was awesome. It's a great idea.
Right. And, so this is going to be once a week. Maybe some weeks we could do it twice a week. Because I think we're going to get, our videos are starting to get up to 1,000 views. And, we are breaking records a month. We get a statistics every month. And we're starting to break some records on views. It's not because of me. It's because of the people that we interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're doing raw and real stuff that impacts real life situations, and you're not watered down. You're not Hollywoodish with it. You're just really authentic, and that's what people want.
Right.
60 seconds remaining.
Well, we will resume on Monday afternoon at 2:00. I'll see if Jaybird can join us that day.
All right. Well, thanks to all the fans, Beef First for this, and all the fans from Inside Out. This is Jay Lee. I hope to hear from you soon. Be good to yourself and those you love, and I'll be in touch as soon as I can.
Thank you, Jay Lee. Okay. Thank you, everybody. That was Jay Lee, Jaybird's brother, or as we know, Jeffrey on Facebook. Please support From Inside Out, as well as Change Starts With Us Ohio, everyone. Have a good day.